Hi, this is Yolanda Vanveen, and in this segment we're going to talk about how to plant a hanging basket. Now there's so many different plants that can grow in a hanging basket. And you don't even have to have trailing plants to put them in a hanging basket. A lot of times I like to mix some of my more upright plants with trailing plants, and then that way you have beauty all over. Now hanging plants grow very easily as long as they have a place to hang. Now a lot of hanging plants don't like direct sun, so a lot of the house plant type hanging plants, if you put them outside in a sunny spot, they'll just fry. So they do much better in the house because they grow in tropics originally, and so they'll do really well as long as you don't keep them too hot. They like nice household temperatures, or too cold. They'll die if they freeze. It's really easy to take starts out of a lot of hanging plants. For example, all you have to take is a little piece of plant from this hanging plant and you can start a new one. This one was started just a couple months ago, and as you can see, it's got some good roots going already. So you can mix them up or just put all the plants together. But basically, as long as there's a root, you can grow it. And you can see this doesn't have a lot of roots, but it's still doing really well. So when you're planting your hanging plants, you don't want to cover too much of the leaves. My trick is you can cover stems and you can cover roots, but you don't want to cover leaves because they'll die. So you just want to put them right into the ground or into the soil, and we can mix them up with all different plants. And that way it'll just start growing and hanging right over. Now I've got other types of plants that do well too as hangers. Now this is a begonia. Now there's lots of trailing types of begonias that are great for hanging baskets, and they're beautiful. And again, they don't want to freeze. They're from Mexico, so you'll lose them if you leave them outside. But if you just leave them dry, you know, in the fall when everything dies back, just chop it down and leave it in the garage. I've had a lot of different types of hanging plants survive for me. Or you have a window in the garage that you can kind of hang them and barely keep them wet, but not really, really wet over the winter, and they will survive. And then with begonias, you just want to cover the bulb barely, not even an inch above the bulb. You don't want it to be real deep because then it won't come up and it won't do well. And so pretty much just set it on top, barely once it has leaves already, and then just make sure that the bulb is covered but the leaves are not. And it'll just continue to grow and come out. Now there's even types of sedums or hens and chicks that make great hanging baskets. And this is a great trailer, and it does really well in hanging baskets. So I love to add it to my hanging baskets. It's just a kind of a sedum. And you just put it right to the side of the basket and then just cover it up a little bit. And there's all different types of sedums too that make great additions to hanging baskets. This has a little bit of a pink color, so it really fills it up. Okay. Now plants like ivy are great for hanging baskets as well, but be careful with ivy. Do not let it grab onto your house or near your house or the wood in any way, because it will eat it alive. So it's great in a hanging basket, but make sure that it does not attack any wood and it doesn't ever touch any wood in your yard. So that's a good place for ivy, is in hanging baskets. Never put it in the soil in your gardens. It will take over and become an invasive weed. So it'll eventually fill out too. The thing about hanging baskets is that you got to wait for them to do something. Sometimes it takes a month or two before they really fill in. But you just add a few things that look good, that trail, and before long you'll have a beautiful hanging basket. And as things die off, you can trim them back. If it's brown, cut it out. Green, leave it be. And you will have a gorgeous container all summer through fall.